Hi, third grade social studies teachers. My name is Kelly, and today I'm going to take you through the immigration unit for third grade social studies. In this unit, we focus on the compelling question, what would compel people to move to a new place? We spend time exploring push and pull factors. We look through the Ellis Island experience. We learn about various groups of immigrants, as well as their contributions to Iowa and the United States. As you can see, this unit is designed for class periods to be about 25 to 30 minutes in length. There's 19 lessons plus 6 additional ones that are all optional. If you stick to simply the 19 lessons, it should take you 23 to 24 days to complete. We have a collection of standards in this unit, including inquiry, which are not highlighted, behavioral science in yellow, civics in blue, economics in orange, financial literacy in red, geography in green, and the purple are our history standards. Then we have the learning targets for the unit, and then we move into our question section. So we can see our compelling question, and then we're supporting it with 4 supporting questions. Why do people move or choose to immigrate? What did or do immigrants experience when they arrived in America? How does one's culture influence where they choose to live? And how did immigrants and groups shape the culture of the U.S. and Iowa? As you can see, we have 4 chapters, each one coordinating with a supporting question. So supporting question 1 goes with chapter 1, and then you can see how many lessons, including optional ones, and how many days should be set aside for each section. Now, if you want, you can simply click on the link to move ahead, or you can continue scrolling to that chapter. At the start of each chapter, we have an overview, much like we see for the unit plan. We get the lesson title, we have the supporting and compelling questions, a brief summary of what will happen in this chapter lessons, any standards that align there, and the lesson objectives or targets. So as you can see, this starts with an optional lesson with the read aloud book, This is America, The American Spirit in People and Places. And there are some prompting questions to have students think about. The unit officially begins with lesson 1, in which you might want to remind students of the meaning of the compelling question and supporting question in general. This is something they would have learned in 2nd grade, but may need a reminder. The next thing you will do is introduce the compelling question, and I know the word compel is a bit strong for some 3rd grade vocabulary. You can replace it with move, but I think it's worth taking the time to understand the word compel. Then you go into define immigration and immigrant. There's a read aloud or a read aloud video of coming to America, and there's some questions to direct the discussion or writing after that is completed. Then you move on to lesson 2, and we explore the idea of thinking like a social scientist. There is a video available on this strategy on the Teaching Social Studies playlist. It's linked in this video's description. You'll have your students begin by analyzing the picture, and one of the strategies is called WDIS, or What Do I See? There's a link for a video on the WDIS strategy provided in this video's description. So after the students generate what they see, then they go and they consider the 4 social scientists and try and figure out which each social scientist would ask about the image. And there's various images available. And then students would spend time trying to come up with a question that each social scientist would ask about this particular image. It gets them thinking about the idea of immigration and what it means for those of us who live here in this country. In lesson 3, you might want to use a review of primary and secondary sources. Again, they would have experienced it in 2nd grade, but might need a refresher. There's a collection of images that students can use, and this is all about the Statue of Liberty. Lesson 4 focuses on push-pull factors. Push meaning things that make someone want to leave their home, leave their country, like famine, loss of a job, anything typically that's negative. A pull factor is something that makes someone want to move to a new spot. These are the positive things. A new job, a better life, family being there, all of those different things. There's a read aloud available, and getting students to think about why immigrants choose to move. And this really helps with that compelling question. Lesson 5 is a gallery walk, and you can use WDIS or you could use I See, I Think, I Wonder. And there's a few items from the Ellis Island experience that students can explore. Many of these are primary sources, so this is another good time to mention that and take a quick review. There's an optional lesson for building more understanding about the immigration experience to America. And then in lesson 6, that is the formative, where we're making a claim about why people move or choose to immigrate. Chapter 2 lessons are entitled Ellis Island, and so we're spending a lot of time exploring that aspect of our history in relation to immigration. And in lesson 7, we have a second part to that I See, I Think, I Wonder gallery walk, with a few different options, again, more geared towards the Ellis Island experience. In Lesson 8, we have a book that we can read, At Ellis Island, A History in Many Voices, and we focus on the perspective of the girl in the story, as well as some of the other characters. In Lesson 9, we read the book Emma's Poem, and we focus on what those words mean to us, surrounding the concept of the Statue of Liberty and what it represents. Lesson 10 is an Ellis Island WebQuest virtual field trip where students can explore different aspects of Ellis Island. There's another optional activity with The Arrival, and this one focuses more on the hardships that people might have faced. You do get that earlier in this chapter, but if you want additional time on it, this provides another option. There's an additional option with extra practice about a variety of people. Lesson 11 is our formative assessment, in which students answer the supporting question, what did or do immigrants experience when they arrive in America? In Chapter 3, we're focusing on how culture and location work together. So the supporting question is, how does one's culture influence where they choose to live? So Lesson 12, we have some activities considering Salad Bowl as that reference to our culture here in Iowa and the United States in general. Lesson 13, we have a few options, and we're considering more about more recent immigrants as well as historical immigrants to our state. So we have the Sudanese, we have some German, African American, and Italian as a few of our focuses for this lesson. In Lesson 14, we're focusing more on what immigrants have to do to become a U.S. citizen. So the civics test, the naturalization process, and things of that nature. In Lesson 15, we learn more about the immigrants who came to Iowa, and this Iowa Pathways immigration in Iowa is very helpful for searching for specific groups of people who came. Lesson 16 is the formative, again, answering the supporting question. In this case, it's supporting question 3. There's some sentence prompts and some guiding thoughts for students to create their response. Chapter 4 continues to focus on immigrants in Iowa, and we're focusing on how immigrants and groups shape the culture of the United States and Iowa in particular. In Lesson 17, we're looking at the influence of specific groups in Iowa. There's an optional lesson using the book Their Greatest Gift, again focusing on cultural contributions. Lesson 18 is the summative, in which students either agree or disagree with the claim, all people move to a new place because of a new job or to earn more money. Students support their position and can present their thoughts in a variety of ways. Lesson 19 is all about taking informed action, which are a couple of inquiry standards that have to be taught. So there's a few options provided. There's ideas for welcome letters or videos about when new students come to school. There's lots of other options as well. I hope that this video was a helpful resource for you as you prepare to teach the immigration unit. Please feel free to reach out to your PLC leader, instructional coach, or curriculum facilitator if you have any questions or would like some more information or support.